Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Bennett Tyler with the Aberdeen Group, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, Finding the Cure for Your Business's Growing Pains. The webinar today is hosted by the Aberdeen Group and sponsored by Sage. During this webinar, we will focus on small and medium-sized businesses and how the right modern ERP tools can help keep your organization competitive and growing. Our presenters today are Nick Castellina, VP and Research Group Director for the Business Planning and Execution Practice here at the Aberdeen Group, and Daniel Scott, Senior Product Marketing Manager at Sage. If you'd like to read their full bios, please use the drop-down arrow below their photos on the left side of your screen. I encourage you all to submit your questions throughout the webinar using the Q&A field at the top left of your screen. We will facilitate a Q&A at the end of the presentation and try to address as many of your questions as possible. Also, on the right of your screen, you'll see our resource section. There, you'll find today's presentation deck, as well as some additional reading, including a case study from Sage. It is now my pleasure to turn the webinar over to Nick Castellina.
Thank you, Bennett, and thank you, everybody, for attending the webinar today. We've got some exciting data that I'm happy to share with you around the things that growing businesses are doing today to ensure that their organizations are able to support their growth as things change within their organization. So we're going to talk a lot about the technology that organizations are using, the processes that these organizations are changing, and the ways in which organizations like yours are finding that they can actually stay competitive as their organization grows and changes. So more specifically, here are some of the key findings that we'll be going over today. Number one, we're going to talk about the challenges that growing businesses face and how businesses must manage growth, but they have difficulty managing their operations due to a lack of visibility into essential data. We're going to talk about what happens when an organization grows and why these organizations must be able to react to those changes when it comes to things like new product lines, new locations, new regulations, new operational challenges, new customers, new competitors, whatever it may be that impacts your organization as it grows and changes over time. We're going to talk about how organizations are addressing those challenges. We're going to talk about technology that organizations like yours are using today when it comes to their current business systems and why those business systems may not be adequate both for what they're doing now and definitely for what they're going to be doing in the future. We're going to talk about ERP and business management solutions and how those technologies can be used to support growth through the capabilities that organizations have implemented, through the actions that they're putting into place, the strategies they're putting into place, the ways in which they're combating the changes that are happening in their organization. And then lastly, we're going to look at some data that I've collected that talks about what type of benefits growing organizations have seen that have implemented things like ERP and business management solutions when it comes to agility, when it comes to customer satisfaction, when it comes to profit margins. Basically, the main benefits and the ROI that these organizations have achieved as a result of the business solutions they've implemented. So this is really why you should listen to me. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should actually believe me and what you're going to see today when it comes to the data that I'm sharing. So as Bennett mentioned, I'm Nick Castellina. I'm the Vice President and Research Group Director at the Aberdeen Group in our Business Planning and Execution Practice. And what I do at Aberdeen is I produce research on a variety of topics. Chief among those are ERP, business planning, a lot of organization-wide technologies that organizations are utilizing to improve themselves. And the way I do that is through online surveys that we supplement with end-user phone calls. So here at Aberdeen, we cover a wide variety of business topics, both from an industry standpoint, a functional standpoint, and a technology standpoint. We have groups dedicated to supply chain and manufacturing. We have groups dedicated to human resources. We have groups dedicated to business intelligence. But really the way we produce all of this research that we create is through online surveys. And with every single survey that we have, we ask every single survey taker a series of questions in what we call both our best-in-class framework and our PACE methodology. So starting with our PACE methodology, what that stands for is pressures, actions, capabilities, and enablers. The P for pressures being the key challenges that an organization is putting into place or is facing in any given topic area. So when it comes to growing organizations, it's things like increased costs, lack of standardized processes, lack of visibility into data. You'll see all of that going forward throughout the rest of the deck, but within our surveys, we typically ask these questions as a list of somewhere between 8 and 10. The survey taker is allowed to select their top 2 pressures. Then we have the A for action, which are the key strategies that organizations are putting into place in the face of these pressures. Similar type of question as the pressures questions. These can be things like improving collaboration across the organization, improving visibility across business units, working better with customers and suppliers, all the types of strategies that your organization is going to put into place to ensure that it continues to succeed in the coming months. Then we have the C for capabilities, which are the core competencies that organizations put into place or have implemented in the support of their actions. There are things like organizational capabilities, process management capabilities, knowledge management capabilities, performance management capabilities. A lot of times these are features and functions of software that organizations have put into place, things like the ability to do demand planning, the ability to standardize processes across the organization. Typically we ask this question, what have you implemented, what do you plan to implement, and what do you have plans to implement? And then lastly, the E, we have the enablers, which are the technologies ultimately that these organizations are putting into place. Business analytics, enterprise resource planning, enterprise performance management, all sorts of different technologies that organizations are using across themselves today. Then we have what we call our best-in-class framework, or sometimes our leaders versus followers framework. And what we do here is we rate every single survey taker on a series of key performance metrics that are related to whatever the topic is we're talking about. It can be things like change in profit margins year over year, accuracy of financial reports, time it takes to close a month, basically the things that your organization is going to measure itself against as it tries to determine if it's successful. And we give every single survey taker a score based on their answer to these questions. And based on those scores, we place them into 3 classes, the top 20% being the best in class, the middle 50% being the industry average, and the bottom 30% being the laggards. We also sometimes do leaders versus followers, which is 35% leaders, bottom 65% followers. And what we're able to do is we're able to marry this framework with the PACE methodology to give you kind of a step-by-step guide on what you should be doing to become a top-performing organization. So if you see data that shows that a top-performing organization, the bar representing that organization is larger than the bar representing the organizations that aren't top-performing, that should tell you that that's something that your organization may need to consider doing to become a top-performing organization. So really what that means is if these organizations are doing this, that could be a contributing factor to why these organizations are successful, and maybe you should be doing that as well. With that said, why don't we jump into the actual data that I have to share today? So let's talk about the challenges that growing businesses face today. This is a cut of survey respondents that are in a similar segment as the people that are attending this call today, the small, medium-sized business. And we asked them to select their top 2 business drivers and challenges today. Number 1, by far, 53%, managing growth expectations. This is the number 1 challenge that organizations like yours are facing today. And there's a lot of reasons that organizations have a lot of difficulty dealing with growth, but mostly it's because the organization changes quite a bit. They're no longer to be able to maintain the same ways of doing business that kind of got them to their success in the first place. Their resources are more constrained. They're trying to do more. They're trying to service more customers. We'll talk a lot more about this on the next slide, but really, this is really the main thing that organizations kind of in that growth phase are facing today and trying to figure out ways in which they can take the next step. As a result, they're also subject to a lot of these other challenges, high costs. As your organization grows, you're impacted by growing costs. You're hiring more people. You're opening more locations. You're doing a lot of different things that make it difficult for you to utilize your resources effectively. These organizations are also having challenges when it comes to delays in decision-making from a lack of timely information. Those business leaders that really had a good insight into what's going on throughout the whole business, as your organization was very small, can very easily lose that insight as they're removed from the day-to-day operations. And you're really kind of making it a lot more difficult for them to make decisions that are going to grow the business because they just don't have insight into what's going on, what's going to impact the organization in the future. Also, you see a lack of collaboration. You have employees that may have sat next to each other in the past, geographically now could be across the country or across the world, really, even though you're still just what you would consider a small organization. So it's very difficult for employees to utilize information and to work together to make decisions and execute on processes that are going to help your organization to grow. So really, those are the types of things that really accelerate the challenges when it comes to managing growth expectations. But let's talk a little more specifically about growth and what that's going to do to your business. So there are a lot of things that happen when your organization grows. You're subject to new product lines, which means new products that you may not know are going to be successful. You're running into different types of competition. You're developing those products. There are a lot of R&D costs, a lot of costs associated with introducing new product lines. You're subject to more locations, which means that your employees are going to be removed from each other and they may even be removed from your customers, making communication difficult and making visibility difficult. And while you are maybe exposed to more customers, you're also exposed to more competition as this business environment changes, where basically everybody's selling things online, and some of those larger online retailers are selling a lot of the same stuff that you may be selling. That's a whole new level of competition that you would have never faced before, as opposed to when everything was just brick and mortar and you were really just competing with the store around the block. Of course, there are a lot of advantages that you can take advantage of as well when it comes to selling through Amazon yourself, or Amazon Marketplace. So a whole change in the way your organization is getting its products out to customers. You're also exposed to more data. While mostly more data would usually be a good thing, it becomes very difficult for constrained organizations or growing organizations to actually do anything with that data. They need to find ways in which to make the data that's available to them actually consumable for decision making. As you grow, you're also exposed to more regulatory scrutiny. You're a larger organization. Those regulatory bodies are looking for more revenue. So your organization needs to make sure that everything's in line in case audits happen or in case there's any other type of challenges if you're a food and beverage manufacturer, for example. So your organization needs a more robust and more professional system of record to ensure that your organization is going to hold up to any regulatory scrutiny. Then lastly, a loss of standards, quality, and consistency. So there's a lot of things that your organization was doing to really accelerate you into that growth phase, meaning that you were serving customers effectively, you were making those customers happy. But as your organization grows, there's more people, there's more products, there's more points of contact, that it's really difficult for your organization to maintain standards and quality to ensure that as it grows, it's still be able to deliver that consistently. So all of this really adds up to significant confusion that growing organizations are facing today. They're just not able to operate the ways in which they had planned to operate or they had operated previously, meaning that they've got to make some changes within the organization to continue to deliver value to customers. So let's talk about technology. And technology is something that organizations typically rely on when they're trying to fight some of those challenges that come along with growth. And technology can mean a lot of things. It can mean spreadsheets, it can mean desktop tools, but it can also mean things like more robust accounting applications, business management applications, or even ERP. What we found is that the organizations today that have not implemented some of these more robust tools beyond just spreadsheets face a lot of challenges that really help to exponentially increase some of the challenges we talked about 2 slides ago. So we asked, which of the following technology challenges has your organization faced as a result of the way it runs its business? And these are organizations that did not have a business management solution. Number 1 is a lack of collaboration capabilities. That data that the organization is collecting and compiling isn't easily shared across the organization, so people aren't working off the same data set and aren't making the same type of consistent decisions. They're not able to share their work with each other. They're not able to communicate effectively. A lot of that comes through the challenges that are associated with spreadsheets. So I know a lot of you on the call probably can understand a lot of what those challenges are, but what it comes down to, inaccurate data, they're not easily shared. You can break formulas. There are challenges with version control. They're not secure. A lot of these types of things are really reflected on this page here. What's going to happen to your organization when it relies on technology that isn't up to the level that your organization has reached at this point. So organizations today that are top performing look to ways to really kind of formalize their organization through their technology implementations. So let's talk about business management and ERP solutions within the small, medium business growing industry sector. 81% of leaders have implemented an ERP or business management solution today in comparison to 75% of followers. So even a significant portion of the followers have implemented these types of solutions, which are going to help to really help them compete on a much higher level than they ever have before. So what should you be looking for when you select a solution, and what are some of the results of implementing one of those solutions? Well, number one, organizations, when they're looking for technology, need to understand what it is they need to take their organization to the next step. And number one for best-in-class organizations today is functionality. You see that we asked survey takers a series of options that they were selecting when they're picking an ERP or business management solution, and numbers 1 and 2 come down to the functionality they have and how easy it is to actually utilize that functionality. So what's changing within your business, and what processes do you need to support? You need to make sure that any technology that you're looking to is able to support those processes, because otherwise you're really not going to get full value out of the solution that you're implementing. These organizations are also looking for integrated suites, meaning that it's one single source of data that they can use to run their organization from end to end. Ease and speed of implementation, ability to tailor functionality without programming. But really what it all comes down to, more so than even cost, is whether or not that solution can actually be used to support your organization in today's business environment. So let's talk about, how organizations do that through their technology, and how this makes them more effective as they look to grow their organization. We found that leaders are more likely than followers to implement a wide variety of modules in their business management solutions to enable them to continue to standardize their processes, provide more visibility into information, promote collaboration across the organization, and make it easier to work with both customers and suppliers. So you see that leaders are more likely to have some of those financial type modules that will really kind of button up that part of your organization when it comes to accounts payable and accounts receivable, order management, purchasing when it comes to the supply chain, both upstream and downstream, materials requirements planning for manufacturing organizations, project and job costing, sales and marketing, warehouse management. These are just a sample of the types of individual functions that you can improve within your organization as you grow through a business management and ERP solution. So really what it comes down to is these are the types of things that you're doing very manually today if you're a growing organization, and you're really just relying on spreadsheets, paper-based processes, or really kind of offline conversations between your employees. So this is a real way to really kind of take your organization to the next level and compete on a grander stage through your processes across your organization as a result of your business management solutions. And really, it's extremely important that a growing organization has something that's easy to use when it comes to growing their organization, but does in fact contain that functionality that's needed to take it to the next level. So we've compared, again, leaders versus followers and the capabilities that they may have when it comes to things like collaboration, when it comes to decision-making based on real-time access to data. So you may have better insight into customer information, which will allow you to provide better promotions, to allow you to demand, plan, and forecast more effectively, which is extremely important for a growing organization that, every single material and every single product you build, that's an investment, and you need to not be missing out on opportunities for sales, but also producing too much of a product that's just going to sit on a shelf. Every single investment that your organization makes as a growing organization has increased importance, and you need to use your resources effectively. By relying on the information contained within your business management solution, you can do a more effective job of demand planning and forecasting, which I think is absolutely essential for success in a growing organization. Then you have some of the things that are contained within these more robust and modern solutions today that your organization should be looking for. Things like online help and training, being able to find reports and data in a self-service capacity without relying on IT resources that you may or may not have, pre-configured dashboards and role-based home pages, so giving your employees easy access to the information they need to do their jobs as well as make decisions is a real good way of ensuring that your employees have the tools they need to impact your ongoing growth. It's all about really making it as easy as possible and making decisions as easy as possible for these employees in this new business environment to make you agile and effective at decision making. Let's talk a little bit about mobile. Mobile is something that I think is really come to the forefront of the needs of growing organizations today, and you see that leaders are more likely to not only have mobile access to ERP and business management, but they're having those mobile apps tailored to specific roles or processes. So you need to be looking for a solution that enables you to do things that are very specific to a task on a mobile device rather than simply having your whole business suite on that device. Typical applications could be things like order management, so you can give your salespeople and your field people the ability to take orders when they're meeting with customers out in the field or out on a showroom floor or whatever it may be. Service type applications. You could have applications related to the warehouse and logistics, inventory management, quality management, the type of capabilities that employees really can utilize effectively since they're not typically doing these types of processes in a way where it's easy for them to just go back to a workstation and input information. So it's all about putting the power in the hands of your employees no matter where they are, no matter what time of day it is, and no matter what it is actually that they're doing to allow you to be more effective at servicing customers, keeping costs low. Mobile really specifically impacts efficiency, which is a significant factor for today's growing organization. So what do you get as a result of having a mobile business management solution? Number one, real-time visibility into the status of all processes and all data. It'll allow your decision makers and your business leaders to make decisions that are going to grow the business because they can immediately react to information when it happens, business events when they happen. So you can alter pricing, you can alter your communication with individual customers, you can reference maybe service contracts that you have with customers. It's really going to allow your organization to do a better job of providing a better face to your customers and ultimately help to improve that customer satisfaction, which is so essential in a competitive market. And you see that data entry at the point of activity, which I mentioned on the last slide, being able to take information no matter where you are to ensure that that information is accurate and it's immediately feeding all the other data sets that really people across your organization are referencing on an ongoing basis. And then we have analytics, just a few more slides on this. You see that 56% of leaders in comparison to 26% of followers have business analytics or intelligence integrated in ERP. And what does that mean? That really means a lot of different ways to tailor and work with different charts and visualizations and different reports to derive more insight that can be used for decision making. And you'll see comparing the organizations with ERP and analytics to organizations without, some of the things they can do when it comes to referencing this information. They can drill down to summary data from transactions, from summary data to transactions, so they can really slice and dice the data in a lot of different ways to ensure that you can look at things like revenue per product line, per salesperson, per business unit, whatever it may be, to allow your organization to tweak the way it's operating on an ongoing basis, which is absolutely essential to ensure that you're not wasting resources. You can also be more likely to share data with the extended enterprise, which is important for things like demand planning and material purchasing, to ensure that you're going to have the materials that you need at the right time, at the right price, and being able to get the products to your customers when they need them as well. It's going to help your organization to ensure that it's maintaining profit margins on an ongoing basis. You also have better access to data when it comes to centralized repository of metrics and KPIs, the ability to do variance reports, the ability to look at things like product costs. It's really all about creating greater insight within your organization as it grows, because if you're not implementing some sort of solution, you really kind of lose that as your organization starts to get a little bit out of hand and a little unmanageable. So then lastly, just the other thing that we found that leaders need when they're looking for a solution is the ability to have a solution that supports them as time goes on and as they continue to grow. So being flexible to the changes that may happen to your business when it comes to new products, new business units, maybe even new acquisitions, new regulations, whatever it may be. Looking for a business solution that can be quickly modified to react to business change and support things like e-commerce and mobile functionality or analytics functionality, whatever it may be, ensuring that your solution grows with you. You're a growing organization that's changing. Your solution should be able to change at the same time. So with that said, here are some of the actual performance metrics and improvements that organizations were able to drive through their ERP solutions today and their business management solutions today. And this is really the value proposition that you should be looking at. This is what you should take back to your managers and say, hey, these are the type of improvements that we could see if we implement a solution that's easy to use, supports our processes and helps us to standardize our processes, and is going to be able to help us grow for the long term. Things like improvements in inventory turns, improvements in administrative costs, improvements in complete and on-time delivery, the types of things that are really indicative of business success. Organizations that have implemented these types of solutions have reported in our survey. With that said, before I pass it on, just to reiterate the key findings that we went over today, we talked a lot about the challenges that organizations like you are facing today when it comes to a loss of standards and consistency within the organization, a lack of insight into data, and inability to collaborate both internally and externally. These are the things that are lost that come along with business success, and organizations today need to find ways in which to deal with those losses and really start to maintain their ability to operate through the technology that's available to them. So we talked about what those supporting technologies are, what capabilities are essential to look for when you're selecting a solution, and then we talked about what some of those benefits are. So before I hand it over to Daniel from Stage, I just wanted to give you just a few recommendations when it comes to selecting a solution and supporting your growth on an ongoing basis. Number one, determine your technology needs. You have to understand when you've reached a point in an organization where spreadsheets and paper-based processes and manual processes are no longer adequate. When you've no longer got insight to the information you need, you're no longer able to support processes that you were able to support in the past. You're no longer able to get products to customers when they need them at the right prices. Determine what's most important when you're looking for a solution. Are there specific regulations you need to support, specific processes you need to support, specific industry standards, whatever they may be? Make sure that those are in the solutions that you're implementing. And, of course, focus on what got you there. Of course, that's things like improved customer service, the quality of your products. Make sure that you're maintaining what made your organization successful when you select a solution. Support those processes with your technology capabilities, which are going to enable you to be agile as an organization and scale your solution as you go. Your organization is going to change over the years, but make sure that you're looking to a software solution that's a business partner, understands your industry, understands your challenges, and is going to be able to support you for the long term. With that said, actually Daniel's going to come on right now and talk a little bit about how Sage can help to deliver a solution that works in that way and that can help to support you as you grow. So Daniel, please take it away.
Great. Many thanks, Nick, for that fascinating presentation. I think from my perspective, there's some really great takeaways and data points in there. So all I wanted to do in following up was provide everyone with a little more information on Sage and how we're potentially well positioned to help with some of the growing pains our customers have, and as identified by Nick in his presentation. So for those who don't know too much about Sage, we provide accounting, ERP and business management, HR, payroll, asset management and payment solutions for businesses worldwide. Formed in 1981, Sage was floated on the London Stock Exchange in 1989 and entered the FTSE 100 in 1999. We currently have millions of customers and more than 13,000 employees in 23 countries covering the UK and Ireland, mainland Europe, North and South America, South Africa, Australia and Asia. So as a market leader globally, we understand that reimagining business is not about playing catch-up. It's about leapfrogging your competition. And too often we find businesses make decisions based on what's in the rearview mirror rather than what's in the headlights. Everything we do starts and finishes with building customers for life by offering them choice, support, expertise, and innovation. That means championing their causes. It means offering them choice rather than forcing change upon them and letting them know we'll be ready to move to the next level when they are. We believe we do business in the right way, building trust with customers by being the go-to source of business advice for small and medium businesses. So Sage is not your typical product or software company as some may think. Instead, we partner with our customers so we can understand their business, what's important to them, and how they define their success. We find out what keeps them up at night and where they can be more effective and more efficient. Once we have this knowledge, we identify business solutions that can create greater freedom for them to achieve their definition of success. Yes, sure, we have a product portfolio, but we are overall a business solutions company that is differentiated by the customer experience that we deliver. To give customers what they want, when and where they want it, we have a single global technology strategy for cloud, mobile, and on-premise accounting, ERP and business management, payroll, and CRM solutions. As your business grows and encounters new technology challenges, our portfolio of solutions has been designed to operate and integrate within a technology framework that best suits and grows with your business. So for most of you on the call today, your success really depends both on your ability to proactively manage your sales, orders, operations and financial performance, but also to react and take advantage of changing market, customer, supplier and business partner expectations and demands. But adopting best practice is only part of the story. It first starts with knowing where you are in both age and stage, and, as importantly, where you're going. Then either continue to use or change the solutions that you have to manage your business, depending on where your business is on this maturity curve. So, for example, if you're a startup, your challenges are chiefly around, say, building your brand and your reputation, netting and retaining your first customers, becoming profitable, and setting up a strong foundation to get to the next level. As your business moves into the growth phase, additional complexity and requirements come into play. Major challenges center on opening more than one office or multiple warehouses, hiring and infusing middle management, making payroll, ensuring your employees stay and are happy, that kind of thing. And while you're growing, obviously facing increasing competition. In the established to maturity phases, integration becomes important to ensure complete visibility into all aspects of the business. A different set of challenges appear here, such as information overload, which is being able to extract actionable data from increasingly complex data feeds. Of course, finding and keeping the most qualified talent, maintaining competitive positions, and keeping customers loyal and strategically involved all come into play at this stage as well. And moving all the way through the curve, exit can be very interesting also. Preparing to retire or move on to other projects, business owners want to make their businesses as attractive as possible to potential buyers. So they're looking to upgrade their business management solutions to the latest and the greatest. So separate challenges, but important ones there as well. So just in closing out this presentation today, I'd like to give you a quick overview of Sage's solutions and how we're uniquely positioned in the marketplace to grow with our customers and partner with them throughout their life cycle. Our strategy is to provide the basic building blocks for our customers to construct a financial accounting and business management platform that suits their unique business needs. It starts with the foundation where we have a solution for every step in the business life cycle, and these building blocks enable companies to change their business management solution as their specific needs evolve. So, whether your company is just starting out, growing, or maturing, Sage can help. If you're looking for online solutions to run your business in the cloud, Sage can help. Or if you want to take a hybrid approach and want to pick which parts of your operations you manage outside of the office with mobile solutions, Sage can help. So our portfolio of solutions has been designed to coexist across market verticals and scale with you as your business grows and evolves. We're also working to build out each solution with a range of additional services, both on-premise and in the cloud, to provide additional benefits as you move up the value chain. And finally, we're continually striving to add migration tools and technologies that ease your transition from solution to solution. So finally, I'd like to thank Nick and the Aberdeen Group for hosting this webcast, and thank you to everyone who attended for your attention. If you'd like to know more about Sage or any of the solutions I just highlighted in this presentation, please feel free to contact me. And with that, I'll hand proceedings back over to Bennett.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And thank you to both Nick and Daniel for sharing your insights, recommendations, and research with us today. We're now going to move to the Q&A portion of our presentation. That concludes the presentation portion. Again, if you have any questions as we go through, continue to submit them using our Q&A widget. To start us off, we have a couple of questions. We'll start very basically. Nick, this question I'm sure you can answer, and Daniel, feel free to weigh in afterwards. Nick, how do I drive more value from my ERP?
Sure. So I think it's really takes a commitment through your employees and the way in which they're accessing the technology. So, providing more seats to more users, but also training them on what they can get out of the solution itself and utilizing things like business intelligence to derive more value out of the information contained within ERP. So within ERP and business management solutions, there's a lot of data there. You want to make it as easy as possible for employees to access that data and ensure that that data can be derived for real insights. So, creating visualizations and reports and home pages for them that really give them access to the information they need to do their jobs is going to enable them to derive more ROI. So it's really all about putting the tools in their hands and making a real commitment to having them use it on an ongoing basis.
Excellent. Thank you. Our next question is definitely for you, Daniel. We spent a lot of time today talking about small and medium-sized businesses. Does Sage plan on targeting large and extra-large organizations down the line or now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the short answer is yes, we do. I say this presentation today has been more around the SMB space and the solutions that we have as companies are going through that growth and that migration journey. But we do have a range of enterprise-level solutions that multi-million-dollar companies and sort of hundreds of thousands of employees companies can utilize today, and they are basically all available as of right now. So I mean, if anybody wants any more information on those solutions, I can certainly provide those. But the short answer is yes, we do.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. And rewinding a second back to small and medium businesses. Daniel, why don't you start us off with what you've seen from Sage customers, and then Nick, feel free to jump in with what you've seen in your research. What do you think is the biggest challenge for growing companies?
Yeah, another great question is one that we spend a lot of time in our customer and partner ecosystem discussing. I think Nick covered it extremely well in his presentation that that one of the biggest challenges we have in supporting growth is all around business visibility. And I think one of Nick's slides sort of covered the key technology challenges that we would echo in our research and with our daily conversations with customers and partners. That lacking that the fully kind of holistic view of operations as businesses grow is a challenge. The fact that business systems are sometimes unable to interact, they're dealing with different databases, they don't communicate effectively, is again a hindrance upon growth and performance. And then I think that the third point that Nick made was just in terms of how businesses track their business processes. Not having that firm-wide or company-wide view of operations is again a challenge as companies sort of move out of the sort of 3 to 5 up to 10 employee stage to more of a sort of a distributed operation where if you don't have that business-wide visibility, it can really become a problem further down the road. So that's probably the main area I would say if there was one. It is around the holistic and the company-wide business visibility that certainly our customers, and that is something we understand, and that is something that we are working to provide our customers with as they grow on this stage.
Yeah, I would echo that. It's business visibility as well. It becomes real easy to lose sight of what's going on within your organization as you grow, particularly as a manager. So relying on this technology is a lot of kind of a way to really kind of rein things back in and be able to make decisions that you may have had direct insight into in the past, but you've lost kind of as your organization has grown and spread. So it's a way to kind of keep things in check.
We touched on cloud briefly during the presentation. This is always questions that come up. So, Daniel, you can start us off from what you see with your customers, and then Nick, feel free to jump in with some research insight afterwards. But Daniel, are all of your customers looking for cloud for business management solutions?
Short answer is no, Bennett. No, they're not. I say this is obviously a very interesting conversation that we're having in market and with our customers and partners. Is the general migration of business management solutions to the cloud is inexorable in some ways, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for customers. We still have a bunch of customers at perhaps the lower end of the scale that they just don't require that functionality. They're more comfortable with an on-premise solution. They're more comfortable having their data housed within their own firewalls and so on, without a distributed hosted service to fall back upon. So that is something that we absolutely support. Kind of in the middle of that conundrum, that situation, I guess, is that we also have customers that are looking for what we call a hybrid cloud solution. So we have hundreds of customers that sort of get all the benefits of an on-premise solution in terms of security and data ownership and so on, but they're able to access that system remotely through devices, through iPads, through tablets, through the internet and so on. So that is again a solution that fits a number of our organizations that we work with. Then, as you say, from a fully cloud perspective, yes, we do. I think we have some pretty compelling, certainly from the upper end of our product offerings and solution offerings. We have fully cloud-based solutions around business management, around CRM, payroll, and so on. That again, if that fits people's requirements from a technology and a usability perspective, we can support that as well. So again, so long story short, yes, we are seeing a move to cloud. Obviously, it's been going on for some time now, but we're not encouraging our customers to move in that direction if they're not ready to. So we like to position ourselves as if they're looking for on-premise, for hybrid, or for cloud, we've got a range of solutions that can fit any one of those scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I think to echo what Daniel said, it's really all about choice and whether or not your organization has the needs for a cloud solution that, maybe you don't have the IT resources in-house that you need to support the solution. Maybe you have a widely distributed organization. But really, what comes down most when it comes to implementing a solution is, can it support your organization? Does it have the functionality and the ease of use? And deployment model is really just kind of something that, you check off the box and determine if the individual options exist. It's really if the solution itself fits. So we have seen a lot more willingness to consider a cloud solution over the past several years than we ever had in the past. In fact, I do a yearly survey asking what deployment method your organization would be willing to consider for its next ERP and business management implementation. This year was the first year that the cloud solutions actually eclipsed the on-premise solutions, but that doesn't mean that everything's going to be deployed in the cloud in the future. It's really all about individual choice of the individual company and how it fits with their overall technology landscape. The most important thing is, does the solution work for you?
Excellent. Thank you both. Now, one of the questions that usually comes along with cloud is mobile. So Nick, why don't you start us off with how mobile technology can impact a person's business?
Sure, and I talked about it a little bit within the presentation, but I think it's essential to ensure that you're using mobile for a reason. It's simply not just throwing your entire business solution up on a smartphone, regardless of the form factor. It's really all about just ensuring that you're able to support the individual processes that make sense on a mobile device. Order management, order taking, warehouse and inventory management, service management. There are significant benefits when it comes to the accuracy of data agility and efficiency in decision making, because you've got all the information and all the workflow you need in the palm of your hand as an employee. So there's significant benefits when it comes to mobile devices and having ERP and business management on a mobile devices. You just got to figure out where it fits within your organization and your existing workflows.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Nick. I think that's a great comment. I mean, so from our perspective, again, yes, we mobile enable the majority of our solutions, but we do that on the basis of, which aspects of those solutions are most relevant and most attractive to our customers and most useful to our customers on the road, on a mobile basis. And I think, Nick, you touched on order entry being obviously a key one for us, warehouse management, CRM being another, sales order intake, that kind of thing, all make a great deal of sense to be able to fully integrate to your back office system when you're on the road. It doesn't make sense for all of that functionality to be available on the road. So yeah, it's just a case of it's choosing the reasons for being mobile and for being on the road and making sure you prioritize those areas of your business management solution.
All right, we spent a lot of time today talking about growing businesses and the need to have a solution that adapts to that growth. So, Daniel, does Sage offer migration tools and services for moving customers between different solutions as their needs evolve?
Yes, we do, Bennett. So we have a number of tools and software technologies that we employ when customers are looking to move. In some cases, I'll just give you a very basic example. Very, very detailed and very long database histories from solution to solution. That's an area that we're consistently working on to make sure that when customers are migrating from one solution to another up the value chain, we're making that migration as painless and as error-free as possible. So that is definitely something that we continue to work on with our customers and with our business partners. From a services perspective, yes, also we have an active professional services group that really works in tandem with our business partners and with our customers to sort of not just handhold them through the process, but I think in a lot of cases, customers look to companies like Sage to give them advice and guidance, given that we've been doing this for the best part of 35 years. We understand the challenges and the problems a lot of these customers are going to have, and they really look to us and our business partners to help guide them through that migration process. And that also includes, if we believe customers aren't ready to move to perhaps a more remote or a more complex solution, then we'll have that conversation, absolutely. And the other aspect is we're not forcing any of our customers to move. So customers that are happy with perhaps one of our smaller 2 or 3 user on-premise solutions, we have absolutely no business strategy to migrate them ahead of time. So yes, we do. We have tools and services that we're continually evolving. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So we have one last question to wrap ourselves up today. Nick, you can start us off, and Daniel, feel free to jump in after Nick. And this feels like a great way to wrap up this webinar. Nick, when should I replace my ERP?
When it can no longer support your organization's needs, is what I would say. There's a lot of different reasons that it could be that it no longer supports your needs. It could no longer support the processes that your organization's implemented. When it comes to maybe new workflows, new product lines, new industries and verticals. It could also be that it does not support emerging technology like mobile or analytics or social or some of the other things that are really emerging today. It could be that the solutions become obsolete as a result of the software vendor no longer supporting it. So really, you've just got to continuously be ensuring that your solution's up to date with your organization as it exists today. One thing that we do see is that top-performing organizations are several times more likely to be on the latest version of their ERP business management solution. So ensuring that you're staying current with your software vendor is one way to ensure that your organization's always going to be supported. That's really kind of the best thing. You really got to kind of take it as your organization changes and reassess where you sit with your ERP vendor to determine whether or not it's time to make a change.
Yeah, so just to add to what I think, there's a great response from Nick. So just to add to that, we get this question all the time from customers that, if they're starting very early on sort of entry-level accounting software, and point solutions that just no longer fit the business. If there's, say, a jumble of solutions that don't interact, they don't talk to each other, that can create a real drag on growth as well. We also see customers who are, in terms of additional warning signs, we find that they're working more hours just to keep up with day-to-day tasks and paperwork than they are actually working on growing their business either through incremental revenue or expansion. And again, I said earlier, if customers are experiencing a lack of visibility company-wide and a lack of that, as I said earlier, that kind of holistic view of their business operations, that's again a key to say, perhaps my solution is no longer fit for purpose. It's holding me back. And just to close, as Nick said, I think there are significant benefits to be on the latest and greatest versions. I mean, obviously, even from just a technical standpoint, the later versions of the software and the solutions that we're putting out into the market are technically more refined. They're technically more elegant, if you like. So that typically means reporting's faster, input is faster, the chances of anything going wrong are much reduced. So we always encourage our customers to be on the latest version that suits their business. But again, that doesn't mean we're encouraging them to move to a different platform if that isn't suitable for them and where they are and where they want to be in the stage. So, I think there are warning signs that customers, we're on the lookout for all the time. But again, there's no kind of forced reason to be on a different product if the one that the customers are currently working on, as long as it is, as Nick says, the latest version if possible, then there's no reason for those guys to move off.
Excellent. Thank you. That about wraps us up for today. I want to take a moment to thank Nick and Daniel for sharing with us your research, insights, and recommendations. And I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Sage, for making today's webinar possible. We hope you found today's broadcast to be beneficial. If you have any additional questions, you can submit them to our speakers. We have their contact information up on the screen, as well as in the bio widget. Thank you very much for your participation, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.